What's up, everybody, and welcome to the iReach Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Robinson, founder and CEO of ConstructReach, a national consultancy and initiative that aims to diversify the construction, design, and innovation industries and empower a younger generation. Every single week, we are here merging education, industry, and culture with a variety of featured guests that you do not want to miss. So let's go, iReach. What is going on, everybody? This is Paul back with you for another episode of the iReach Podcast. And I've got a very important special guest. We got a young adult on here, so you know we got to let her shine. We got to let her talk. We've got Meairra Grayson with us. Meairra, what's up?
Hey, y'all. I am so excited to be on here. I'm ready to get into it. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Super excited about this. I wanted to have you on, and I tell you how captivating of, a personality that you have is because after the first time, like, we connected, I was like, you know what? I told the team, we got to have Meairra on. Like, she's got to be a guest on this show. And so I am super excited to let our audience just hear the amazing talent that is behind, that mic right now, and that is meeting everybody here on this camera. So Meairra, let's talk a little bit about like your story. So let us know about you. Like, how did you get here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm currently residing in Southern California, and I actually got into the construction industry pretty young. I'm 21 right now.
Wow.
I'm a very youthful. But I ended up, learning about construction back in high school. So I knew just straight away, I want to go to school and I want to major in construction management. I went to college, got my bachelor's degree this past December, and now I'm here working. Yes, thank you. Now I'm here working full time as a project engineer for Butler. So it almost just kind of just fell right into place. Like it really helped me out to just know what I wanted to do from the very start, and I did it.
Listen. Now, I'm a father, right? So I know we've got a lot of parents that may be watching this, and I tell you, it is a rarity, right? That you have somebody that is young that says, you know what, from the get-go, I knew what I wanted to do. From high school. High school is usually that exploration stage that even lends itself into or leads into young adulthood as well, in college where you dishing out money too, trying to get a degree and it's undecided for so long or what have you. And so knowing that you wanted to move into this industry as a career of choice in high school, how did that come about?
Yeah, I definitely would say I'm very blessed. I was taking a design drafting class because I could have sworn I was going to be an architect at first.
Yeah.
And my high school, we had like a college of engineering. So you could literally it's not a college, but we had like a engineering track where basically you could like take classes like AutoCAD and things like that. And so I remember my high school teacher mentioned that, she had a daughter who was a construction manager. And she would tell us all these cool stories about how, her company would fly her out to different places and she'd get to work on all sorts of different types of projects and that she really loved her job. And I was sold. I was like, it sounds like I need to be investing myself in this career. I love it. I was just hooked from the start all through college. I loved my classes and I just knew like this was the industry for me for sure.
See, I told you, it was first time, right? She knows what she wants to do in high school. She loves college. She loves the classes.
meant to be, literally.
That is good, because a lot of times that college experience, sometimes you have to tell people to stick with it in college because, a lot of the classes that you're taking, sometimes they're not the exact same things that you will do in that particular field of choice, but you learn so many different components. You learn a lot of life skills that are important. You learn how to prioritize. You learn how to multitask and carry out different assignments or what have you, because I tell you, like, those professors treat you as if their class is the only class you're taking. Like, you don't have 15, 16, 17 hours a semester, right? And you got to go from lab to study hall to whatever, and it's just like, do you realize you only one of these courses,
Exactly,
that I'm taking?
Exactly. Yeah, I literally have had that thought so many times. I mean, I'm very grateful for general education, but there were some times I was just in that like biology class. I was like, why? I want
Yes.
to be in like statics. I want to be in like construction. I don't, but it just helps build, like you said, multitasking, which I definitely do a lot of here, just like managing my time. So it did help me out. I'm very grateful that I got to sit through those long labs on
Yes.
those days when I wanted to be somewhere else, but it did pay off eventually.
No, that is good. That's good. So, when you're young and you're still growing into becoming a young adult and you're starting to think about, what is it that I want to do? This is what I'm interested in. How do I begin to pursue a career for that? And I know you mentioned having that early exposure with someone who was in the industry, but when you begin to like look internally in terms of gifts and interests or certain skill sets, what alignment did you see there that said, you know what, this industry, like I could really thrive in it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm definitely a people person. I
Really?
just,
I couldn't
you
tell.
know, in case you didn't notice. But I love connecting with people. And I grew up in the church. So I was literally around all different walks of life.
Yeah.
And I just, I wanted to have a job where I could, just be myself but also, build cool things. And I just feel like that's literally what construction is, because, you're dealing with communicating with your client, with the architect, with all the different trades, and you're all just kind of working together to just build something great. And I definitely wanted to be a part of that. And I've, going through college and starting my career here, I see that I definitely made the right choice. It just aligns so perfectly with just who I am.
Yeah, no, that is good. With the industry of construction, I tell you, it's having those gifts, having those skill sets, having that interest and having that passion. When you're in this industry, especially in the position that you are, like there's so many different people who are specializing in different things, but you're trying to accomplish this one overall goal, right? You're trying to have this one building, this one structure, right? And everybody has a piece, everybody has a role. And when you have that understanding from an early standpoint in life, where you see differences in people, but you also see the value in others, I think you can lean into that position that you currently occupy, and even furthermore in your career, to begin to see the value that everybody brings to the team,
Yeah.
understanding how, hey, you know what, you specialize in this. We need you to execute, right, to the best of your abilities so that we can get to where we want to go. And a lot of that management is that, where you're trying to bring all of these different parts together for those who specialize in different things to accomplish this one structure, right?
Right, right. And I love how you put that, just like being able to see, hey, you specialize in this, and just letting people, it's just like you're kind of relying on each other, really, is what you're doing. And it
Absolutely.
kind of like humbles you in a way, because you're like, wow, I don't know everything. And I do need to, connect with people who can then help me. We kind of help each other out in our own careers. And so I just love that. Like I love how we're kind of like building each other up while we're also building a structure. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's a
Yeah.
term that comes to mind when you said what you said. I'm gonna take you back to school for a second.
All right.
You ain't too far removed, and you love school. So, but there's a term, and we don't use it often, but it's so important, and it's called interdependence.
Mm.
And interdependence essentially is saying, you know what, I have something that I can bring to the table. But in order for me to become what I have the potential to become, or to accomplish that which I'm trying to accomplish, I have to have other people to do this with me.
Yeah.
That can bring things to the table that I don't have.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that. So see, now I'm going to start using that everywhere I go.
Oh, yeah.
Interdependency. Yeah, exactly. And, it just, like I said, it just really humbles you, and it just makes you feel more encouraged to work with people, because you're all working towards the same goal. It's not everybody's out to get each other, which I think that's why our industry can thrive, because we're literally, like you said, interdependent on each other. So I love that. I love the way you put that.
Yeah, yeah, cool. So listen, I know that you are so early, right, in your career. Things are just beginning to jump off for you, and there's a
Yeah.
long way that you are going. But when you think about just that being the ripe age of 21, right, like what's been the biggest challenge so far?
I would say just like coming in, so I am surrounded by so many talented individuals in my office. And I think the biggest challenge for me was just coming to terms with the fact that I don't know everything or anything really. I'm just, fresh. I'm learning new things. And I think, I'm the type of person that I just want to be able to look at something one time and just be like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
But that's literally the exact opposite of what the construction industry is. It's literally all based on putting in the time and putting in experience. And so I think that's been like a little bit of a challenge for me, but it's helping me grow. It's helping me develop. And I just need to just keep with that, just stay in the mindset that one day I will get to that point where, people can come to me for questions and things like that. But I'm growing and I'm learning, which is good.
Good. Now, let's balance that out, right? So what's been your proudest moment?
Okay, a little balance.
Yeah.
I definitely would say my proudest moment is just, after graduating, just coming in here, coming to this office, sitting at my desk and just knowing, wow, like I'm a project engineer. Like after my high school dream literally has come true and manifested itself. And just to sit here and know that, I made my parents proud. They sent me to school and I did what I was supposed to do. And like, I'm here learning, just doing what I love. That was definitely my proudest moment. Like my very first day that I started full time. It was a good day. I think I went out to eat that day. Yeah.
Got to. Yeah.
Right.
But that was, you alluded to something about family, and especially talking about this industry where we don't really see a lot of us in this industry. And I know you've got proud parents, like I can tell, right? But how did they respond to this opportunity that you've been able to take advantage of? But then also maybe your community as well, your friends that you grew up with, and maybe they went into different sectors of business. Talk to me a little bit about, kind of your decision to go into construction. How was that received with kind of your circle?
Right. So my parents were immediately supportive from the very beginning. They were just like all on board. My dad, especially, he was so excited that I was going into construction, which is funny because I really don't have any family members that are actively in construction, which is also why I think it's kind of interesting, my story, because a lot of times when you're younger and you already know you want to go into construction, you have someone, around you who's in it. So yeah, my parents it was exciting. It was like new to my family. So, everyone was super like curious and like intrigued, but also like super proud of me. So it was really good. I got a lot of support from there. And as far as my friends, I will admit sometimes like I would tell them, this was like back when I was like telling them about my major, like what I was going to major in. And they were like, construction management? Like that's a major. So, at first it was just kind of like, oh, wow, like you're going to be doing that. But then, as I kind of started to take my classes and I would like tell them about it, they were kind of like, oh, wow, like, so what do you do? Like they were kind of interested. And it's funny because, I've met people who have originally started out completely different majors and get into construction. So it's so funny to see that. But yeah, everyone has been super supportive and I would say inquisitive for the most part about just about my major, which I love. I'm like, yes, look into construction, get into it.
That's why we exist, right? Because the visibility, the awareness, to a certain extent, that exposure, it's not there. So I'm always interested to see how, your peers are responding to this industry that few know, I would say, enough about. Right. And so, man, that's definitely good. And then more will know about this industry because of you being on the show today. So, that's definitely something that I was very interested in, wanted to see how those who were close to you responding to you going into this industry. So that's good. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, of course. I love sharing it. Every chance I get, I'm like telling them what I did. And like, I just love like the curious, inquisitive minds. I'm like, yes, like it's exciting. I love it.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, and knowing that this is an industry where, the diverse representation, that's still an area of concern and opportunity for this industry. Talk to me a little bit about what changes you would like to see, especially from a young person's perspective. And your demographic is the demographic that the industry is in huge need of, like today, like yesterday, for its overall sustainability.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, honestly, just I want to see our industry represented in education more. Like as a young person, I feel like it was just so beneficial for me to already know in a high school, learning about construction and what it entails, because, I just feel like that would benefit so many people and give so many people an opportunity, instead of, you can take a construction class for an elective, and because, we take art and we take other things, which are really cool, but also construction is really cool. And I just feel like a lot of kids, they would find themselves interested in construction because, as we kind of mentioned earlier, there's so much opportunity for any kind of person. There's so many roles that you can have in construction. You don't only have to be a project manager. You can be an inspector. There's just so many different avenues. And yeah, I would say I really want to see this industry represented more in education, because that way I feel like we can reach more young people.
Yeah, no, that is good. That's good. And even on the education side of things, that's what we're beginning to see the introduction of, or the reintroduction, I would say, of more construction specific courses, and an exposure to this career and this sector, right, of business.
Yeah.
So no, that's very good. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, I mean, and that's huge. I mean, that's something that we work to do as well, merging industry and education. When we had the surge of more technology coming, you begin to see a lot of those classes incorporated at the high school level, but the construction specific courses, there's still a need for those because those jobs are still in high demand. And so, not to say that we didn't need the integration of more technology focused courses, because I mean, you can't really escape technology now. I mean, it leads everything, but I think that there is that happy medium where you do both and you acknowledge where we are from a technological standpoint and where we're going, but also the need still for construction specific courses.
Exactly. And it's so interesting because construction will literally always be around. That's
Yeah.
why it kind of shocks me a little bit that it's not, it's not talked about as much in school. I feel like we should definitely get on that because it is not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, we got plans.
Right. We're it's in the works.
Yeah. We're doing that now. Nah, this is good. This is good. Got a couple of more questions here for you that I wanna put in front of you. First, future career plans, right? Where does Meairra see herself?
Yes. You know what? I am not gonna lie. I'm trying to be a project executive one day. I just want to just learn as much as I can and just
Boss
grow
up.
and develop. Yeah, literally. Boss up. Exactly. But I just think it would be so cool for me to just be able to gain so much knowledge and be able to lead a full team of my own and just help other people. I just love that idea. So eventually I want to just take that ladder up and up and up. And, I definitely see myself in an executive position in the not so far away future. So
Yeah. Well, I definitely see those components, right? I think you do have a bright future in front of you. I think our audience can clearly see that. I'm pretty sure now they can agree with me, right? When I started off saying, hey, from the very first conversation, I knew that this was a person that I wanted to remain in contact with, to speak to on this podcast. And so, yeah, I mean, I think the future is bright for you, but also recognizing that you are in a very unique position as a young Black woman within the industry of construction. And that's almost that is quite frankly, that's a double minority because females in general only occupy 10% of this industry. And then being a Black female within this industry as well, like you are an inspiration. I hope you know that you are an inspiration for a lot of young girls that look like you, that come from where you come from. What would be your message to them?
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, I honestly, my message would be, it's going to be tough for sure. It's going to be tough taking these courses or just, apprenticeships or whatever you're doing in construction and not seeing people that look like you. So I definitely would say, just come to terms with that, but then also be encouraged because you will literally be setting the path for others who look like you to follow, and it's just, it'll come around full circle. And eventually, the goal is that we can be more diverse and we can have more representation, because, you know, we like to see people who we can relate to in our industries of work. So I would just say to any young Black girls who are out there listening, please, you know, take the plunge, get into construction, get yourself out there, and just, you know, represent and help others to join in the fun too. You know, it's definitely an industry that needs more of us, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Meairra, you definitely represent well. And I'm sure that you are now a new model of success and a source of inspiration to somebody out there. And so just want to say thank you for joining us today. Got to have you on again, but such a breath of fresh air, and much luck to you.
Thank you, Paul. It's been real. It's been real.
All right. Well, what an amazing episode. We want to thank everybody for tuning in with us today. Continue to join us and follow us. iReach. Take care. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning into our show. Remember, like, share, subscribe to the podcast, and join the movement as we reach to build a better future that we can all be proud of.